Wow, what do you know? It's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. I ate an entire large pan pizza at Pizza Hut once. I was hungry, obviously, so I just kept shoveling piece after piece into my mouth until the pan was emptied and my plate was clean. I don't remember much else about the evening. I ate the 8 slices and went home to my apartment. I don't recall having any stomach issues. I may have had an iron gut back in the day. If I tried to repeat that feat now, I'd be in the bathroom all night. Too much information, I know. Earlier in life, I've been told I was served last at family meals. If I was offered a bowl or platter of food before the rest had their fill, there wouldn't be enough for my mom or dad or my siblings. I don't remember this phase, but I trust the people who have told me it was true. I guess I was a hog. Selfishness isn't only about food, of course. There is a wide variety of self-centered behaviors. Piling up mounds of money for yourself, buying pallets of toilet paper when there's a shortage, taking the front seats at church from others who really want to sit there but have to take the back row instead. So selfish. We all deal with things in our inner being which we wish weren't there. One of the most common things we deal with is this thing called selfishness. We want what we want, and we want it now. Mine! It's not just toddlers who shout it. Adults say it too. There's an account of an incident from Jesus' life which shows the kind of behavior I'm talking about. The way Jesus speaks to the man in this story is convicting. I wonder every single time I read it what I'm supposed to do in response. The passage I'm talking about is in Mark chapter 10. I'll start with verse 17 and read a little bit to begin with. As Jesus started on his way, a man ran up to him and fell on his knees before him. "Good teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "Why do you call me good?" Jesus answered. "No one is good, except God alone. You know the commandments. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony, you shall not defraud, honor your father and mother." "Teacher," he declared, "all these I have kept since I was a boy." Jesus looked at him and loved him. "One thing you lack," he said. "Go sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me." At this the man's face fell. He went away sad because he had great wealth. Jesus knows this young man deeply. He knows his dark secrets. He knows every desire in his heart. He knows every stray thought, and he loves him. Did you catch that in verse 21? Jesus looked at him and loved him. I don't know if this man had in fact lived as spotless a life as he says he did, but I'm willing to accept his word at face value. He probably had lived his life in an upright manner, hadn't killed anyone, hadn't committed adultery, hadn't stolen from his neighbor or defrauded anyone. He honored his parents in the way that God intended. If we met this guy, if we watched him interact with others, if we knew him, we'd say he was good. And we'd be wrong. Go back to verse 18. Listen to the first words Jesus said in response to the man. "Why do you call me good?" Jesus answered. "No one is good except God alone." There is no one good except God alone. Paul affirmed this truth in Romans 3:10-20. Go read the passage when you have the time. Using multiple phrases from the Old Testament, he proves what Jesus said to the man. No one is good, not you, not me, not your great Aunt Ruth. No one can be saved by their good works because they aren't good. So it seems most likely that Jesus, knowing what's in the man's heart, is setting things up so that he can see this truth. Jesus wants to expose sin so the man will depend on him for salvation. Can you see it in the invitation Jesus issues after the man affirms his own goodness? As soon as the words are out of his mouth, "All these I have kept since I was a boy," Jesus lays it out for him. "Go sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me." We tend to fixate on the sell everything part of this passage and miss the welcoming, "Come, follow me." We focus on give to the poor and miss the promise of treasure in heaven. Are we frightfully close in heart to this man? We want eternal life because eternity without Jesus sounds awful. We like the idea of following Jesus as long as it doesn't cost us too much. Go sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. Ouch. More or less, that's what the guy said to Jesus. The invitation was too much for him. He wanted his wealth. He wanted it more than he wanted eternal life. This is why his face fell at Jesus' words. It's why he walked away sad. Gaining eternal life was suddenly more costly than he imagined, and he wasn't willing to pay the price. He wanted eternal life, but not that much. How much do you want eternal life? Do you have it? What does your level of generosity toward others say of your faith? As hard as it is to face the fact that at the root we are as selfish as this man, there is hope for us. What we find impossible, giving up everything to follow, God can make happen. He can save stingy, self-centered folks. It's not impossible for him. Look at Mark 10:27. All things are possible with God. If you and I follow Jesus, turning over our shortcomings and sins, asking for help, our God will save us. I'm talking about more than pie in the sky in the sweet by and by, too. Salvation is not about heaven alone. It's also about living for Jesus in the here and now. Can you do that? Not on your own. I can't either. But here's the good news. It's given to us in the rest of verse 27. All things are possible with God. Why? Because he's God. He's all-powerful. He's more than able. What you and I cannot change, our self-centered nature, which works itself out in selfish actions, he can change. He can change and transform us if we accept his invitation. Do you hear him calling? Come, follow me.
Oh no, it's sad, I know we've come to the end of the show.
See you next time.